Dead by Daylight has been around for almost a decade now, and while it survived plenty of drama, right now the community feels more frustrated than ever. From broken perks and grindy progression, to buggy patches, questionable balance changes, and even unnecessary perk updates. It feels like every patch sparks new outrage. So let's break down why players are upset with DBD right now, what Behaviour Interactive has been doing in response, and whether it's enough to rebuild trust. Number 1. The Streetwise exploit and kill switch controversy. One of the biggest sparks recently was the exploit involving Streetwise. This bug basically gave survivors unlimited item charges, totally game breaking. Dead by Daylight has a system called the kill switch, which is supposed to let the devs disable perks or killers when something is broken. But when players begged for Streetwise to be kill switched, Behaviour initially refused, saying it didn't meet the criteria. This felt totally dismissive. Then, after backlash, they reversed course. They disabled Streetwise along with Blood Rush and Last Stand, and even put out an apology promising to overhaul how the kill switch works. Yet another Behaviour apology. To players, understandably, this felt like Behaviour only reacts when the community gets loud instead of getting ahead of the problem. Next, bugs breaking core gameplay. Recent updates introduced bugs that broke the core of the game. For example, killers couldn't properly start a chase music didn't play, survivors would get stuck on stairs, and some perks stopped working as intended. These aren't just little glitches, they hit the fundamentals of how Dead by Daylight works. A hotfix did patch many of these issues relatively quickly, but the fact that they made it live in the first place makes players feel like the game isn't being tested thoroughly enough before updates. Next is perk instability and flip-flopping. After the kill switch mess, perks like Streetwise and Last Stand came back once fixes were ready, but Blood Rush was switched on and off multiple times. This kind of flip-flopping makes the game feel unstable. Imagine building your loadout around a perk and suddenly it's just gone. Not because of balance, but because it's broken. That's frustrating and makes the game feel chaotic. Next is the unnecessary perk updates. There's a lot of things sometimes that the community asks for. For example, the interactive blood web where you can bulk spend blood points, something we had been asking for years, and it's always wonderful when the devs listen. On the flip side, sometimes the devs do things that nobody asked for. A big example is the nerf of Franklin's Demise. For those of you that don't know, until recently, Franklin's would work as follows. You'd hit a survivor, they'd drop their item, and whilst that item is on the floor, it would begin depleting. This allowed for you to play in effective ways, such as combining it with Weave Atonement that would allow you to see survivors' auras around depleted items. However, out of the blue in the most recent update, Franklin's was nerfed. So now, when you hit a survivor, they drop their item, but it no longer depletes. Players were left asking, why? This perk wasn't dominating the meta, it wasn't breaking matches, instead it was one of the few tools killers had to slow down survivor item usage. When perks that aren't even problematic get nerfed, it feels like the devs are tinkering with the wrong things, while leaving bigger balance issues unaddressed. It adds to the perception that Behaviour doesn't fully understand what the community actually wants and needs. Next up, progression. Behaviour recently revamped the Rift system, trying it more to quests and fragments, but players quickly realised how grindy this was. It takes 100 fragments to level up the Rift, while daily rituals only give about 45 in total. That means you'd have to grind for hours every day just to keep up, unless you buy Rift tiers with real money. Behaviour did lower the XP needed per fragment from 800 down to 500, but players say still it's not enough. To many, it feels like the system is designed to push them toward paying instead of playing. Next, we've got balance whiplash, specifically from licensed content. Licensed content always causes a lot of hype. Tokyo Ghoul, Walking Dead, Stranger Things, but they've also caused their own amounts of chaos. For example, when the gold dropped, he was ridiculously strong, and within weeks, Behaviour had to nerf him by cutting his range and slowing his abilities. They did the same thing with Chucky last year when he was released. It's a cycle that keeps repeating. New killers launch, overtuned, dominate for a while, and then get hit with a quick nerf. Combine that with new bugs every chapter, and the game's meta never feels stable. Next, we've got the communication and trust issues. Ultimately, everything I've been saying circles back to trust. The Streetwise situation showed how inconsistent Behaviour's communication can be. At first, they brushed it off, but then after backlash, they kill switch the perks and apologise. The devs say they'll clarify their criteria for kill switching in future, but right now, a lot of players don't believe them. And once trust is lost, it's very hard to win back. On top of that, we've got the general launch of game modes that just aren't ready to go. Let's not forget how recently 2v8 returned and it was a complete disaster for the first 24 hours. Nobody could queue for any matches. Surely you are testing these modes and updates before they're released to the community. Ultimately, guys, there's not just one single problem with Dead by Daylight right now. It's a whole stack. Buggy patches, broken perks, unnecessary changes, grindy progression, unstable balance, expensive cosmetics, and unclear communication from the devs. Behaviour has issued many apologies, and I think people are getting a little bit sick of them. They've also promised fixes, and they've pushed out some patches in the interim, but for many players, the trust has already been broken. They're now delaying future chapters in an attempt to address the game. It does feel a little bit like the hand has been forced here, and they're backtracking and doing everything they can to keep the community sweet, when in actual fact, the community has never been more sour. Can Behaviour really turn this around and make Dead by Daylight fun and stable again? Or are we seeing the slow decline of a game that's been a horror staple for nearly a decade? Let me know in the comments. Is it on the road to recovery? Or is Behaviour losing control of their game? I'd really like to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and see you in the next one.